You slept for 8 hours last night and woke up tired. Not because something went wrong, because your brain never actually stopped. It replayed a conversation from 3 days ago. It rehearsed what you'll say tomorrow. It drafted apologies for things that haven't happened yet. If that sounds familiar, this video is about what's really going on inside your mind. And I think what you're about to hear might change how you see yourself completely. Psychologists have a name for this pattern. They call it maladaptive rumination, the tendency for the mind to loop back to the same thoughts over and over, especially around uncertainty, past events, or what other people think of you. But here's what most people get wrong about it. Research consistently shows that people who ruminate aren't doing it because they're broken or weak. In many cases, they do it because their brain is exceptionally good at finding patterns. It's always scanning, always processing, always searching for meaning in the noise. The problem isn't the intelligence. The problem is that the brain never receives a signal to stop. Neurologically, it comes down to a region called the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, analysis, and self-reflection. In people who overthink, this region stays unusually active even during rest. Meanwhile, the brain's background processing system keeps generating an internal monologue, running commentary on your life even when you've asked it to be quiet. The result is a mind that is essentially always online, always auditing, always composing responses to conversations that haven't happened yet. And there's a chemical reason it's so hard to stop. Your brain releases small amounts of dopamine during problem solving, even imagined problem solving. So when you mentally rehearse a scenario, turning it over and over, your brain is being partially rewarded just for the activity, not for reaching an answer, just for thinking. Telling someone to just stop overthinking is a bit like telling someone to stop breathing. The brain has a chemical incentive to keep going. For most overthinkers, this pattern didn't begin in adulthood. It began much earlier, often in environments where outcomes felt unpredictable. When a child grows up never quite sure what mood they'll walk into, or where small mistakes had outsized consequences, the young brain learns a very logical survival strategy. Think ahead. Anticipate everything. If you can see what's coming, maybe you can protect yourself. Seen through this lens, overthinking isn't a flaw. It's a form of intelligence, a sensitive, highly aware nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do: keep you safe. The difficulty is that the danger it was protecting you from may no longer exist. Before I go on, I just want to say something to whoever is watching this right now. If you've made it this far into this video, there's a good chance you've spent a lot of your life feeling like something is wrong with you, like your mind is a burden, like you think too much, feel too much, care too much. You don't. You're just someone who hasn't been told the truth about themselves yet. This channel exists for exactly that reason. If these ideas are reaching you, if they're helping even a little, the most meaningful thing you can do is subscribe. It costs nothing, but it tells me that this work matters, and it helps me keep making it for you. Not all overthinking is the same. Psychologists identified two distinct patterns. The first is called reflective rumination, turning inward to understand yourself, process your emotions, make sense of the world. In balance, this is actually a strength. It's linked to deeper self-awareness and higher emotional intelligence. The second is brooding rumination, a more passive, more painful pattern of dwelling on problems without moving toward any resolution. This is where overthinking starts to cost you, in sleep, in decision-making, in the exhausting habit of analyzing every interaction long after it's over. The tricky part is that most overthinkers move between both. A moment of genuine reflection can slide almost invisibly into a spiral. And because the thinking feels productive, because the brain is busy, it can be genuinely hard to notice when you've crossed the line from processing to looping. Cognitive psychologists call this the illusion of mental progress. The mind feels like it's solving something, but it's just going in circles. Here's what might surprise you most about all of this. Research has found that people who experience more rumination also tend to score significantly higher on measures of cognitive empathy, the ability to understand and anticipate how others think and feel. On average, they are more sensitive to social nuance, more aware of how words land, more attuned to the unspoken emotional texture of a room. The very engine that makes overthinking so exhausting is also what makes these people remarkably perceptive. But perception without resolution is its own kind of weight, because the more you notice, the more there is to process, and the more you try to think your way through it, the further clarity seems to drift. What actually helps? So, what do you actually do with all of this? Therapists who work with chronic overthinkers rarely focus on stopping the thoughts. Instead, they focus on changing your relationship to them. A technique called cognitive defusion, used in acceptance and commitment therapy, teaches you to observe your thoughts without being pulled inside them, to notice a thought loop without becoming it. The shift sounds subtle, but it's genuinely powerful. Instead of, "This situation is dangerous and I need to figure it out right now," the reframe becomes, "My brain is generating a concern. I notice that." One statement drags you under, the other gives you a fraction of distance, and in that distance, something like freedom begins. Overthinking is not a character flaw. It is not evidence of weakness or instability. At its core, it is a highly active mind that learned to stay alert in a world that once felt uncertain. And the work, the real work, isn't to silence that mind. It's to gently, patiently teach it that it is finally safe enough to rest. We all carry patterns that were shaped by experiences we didn't choose. Understanding those patterns doesn't erase them, but it does change how much power they hold over you. And sometimes that understanding is exactly where it begins. If this video made you feel a little less alone in how your mind works, share it with one person who might need to hear it. They may not have the words for what they're experiencing yet. This might be those words. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Hidden Psychology. Every week we go deeper into the parts of human behavior that most people never talk about. I'll see you in the next one.